everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. We're going to be continuing to take a look at the things that I recently got from Target before we move on to the rest of the Christmas items. But today, we're going to be taking a look at the very first Dino Trackers dinosaur to be reviewed on this channel. We're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Dino Trackers Track and Attack Indoraptor. So I was super happy that we were getting a new Indoraptor figure since we never gotten one since 2018. So taking a look at this one seems to be a step up from the original one, minus a couple things, but other than that, I think it's going to be a real step up. So taking a look at this new packaging, the new Dino Trackers packaging, which is the new toy line for this year. We got the Jurassic World logo and the Dino Trackers logo, which is kind of paying homage to the Kenner time when they did a line called Dino Trackers. On the side of the box here, we got Blue and Beta. They're gonna be like the new mascots for this toy line, so I love seeing them together. I like the little crosshair looking thing around Blue's head as if she's being tracked. And every single Dino Trackers dinosaur is supposed to pair up with a specific environment based on its colors. So the Indoraptor is part of the jungle environment. That's why you see the little jungle logo there, and that's why there's a jungle background and why the packaging has some green on it. So that looks really cool. On the side of the box here, we got the Jurassic World logo, and then on the other side, we have the Dino Trackers logo. So those look really nice as well. Taking a look at the back of the packaging here, we get a nice little setup here. You got the world continents in the background, the cool render of the Indoraptor using its action features, and yeah, I mean, everything just looks really cool. It's a normal, typical Mattel box. Here on the corner, we got information about the Facts app, and we got a picture showing that the Indoraptor has glowing red eyes, and it makes sound because, it has lights and sound. And then if you lift up the arm for slashing movements, as you can see here, attacking the poor Elaphrosaurus, and it comes with tracking gear included. So that's one of the reasons why I bought this. And then you got the other Dino Trackers, larger dinosaurs that can be found in stores, which I got for Christmas. So stay tuned for those reviews. But that's a brief look at the packaging here. I can't wait to take a look at this Indoraptor. Let's go ahead and open it. All right, so here we have the Track and Attack Indoraptor out of the box. Wow, this is a really nice looking figure the more I look at it. Definitely a much better version of the Indoraptor than what we got back in 2018. First things first, we're going to take a look at the colors, because the colors are one of the things that stand out with this figure and are one of the reasons why I bought this in the first place. So when you take the first Indoraptor, its colors are a little bit more of a plain black, darkish gray color, but this one does have like that black tone to it, but it's also covered with this blue, turquoise, and purple, like metallic shine to it, because you can see it like shine and glow depending on what light source is hitting against it, and it's just like it gives off like that shiny look to it, which is kind of what we got in Fallen Kingdom in some shots. So the colors on here are beautiful, and I think just the whole translucent look, it just looks spot on. I absolutely love it, and it's just so much better than the original. It definitely makes this hybrid stand out. So we're going to take a look at the sculpt now that we got the colors out of the way. So here's the head. Another reason why I bought this was it has a more movie accurate head, which is what the original Fallen Kingdom superposable Indoraptor was missing. That head was not accurate at all. I mean, it was when I first bought it, but looking back at it now, it just looked bad. This one here is next level awesome. This one is much more of a movie accurate head sculpt, and I love it. You can see here the detail is about the same with the original. Nice scales on the jaw here and all over the face. You got them nice little claw marks right there, which are present on every single Indoraptor. Here, looking at front view, much more of an accurate size or look for the head. More nice scales up here. Same goes with the other side. And the teeth are also another reason why I bought this. The teeth are so much better than the other one. The other one just had weird blunt looking teeth, and obviously the paint chipped easily. This one is not paint. These are just like soft rubbery pieces embedded into the plastic, and so since they're not painted, they're not gonna get scuffed up, which is, I think, a really awesome addition to these toys. I'm glad, Mattel, you've been doing that. You got some nice sculpting on the roof of the mouth here. Nice bumps. And then down here, get some nice sculpt on the tongue and on the bottom. I will say the plastic, the white plastic, kind of bugs me a little bit just on how much it shows. I wish it was just the teeth that were showing, but they have like all these huge slabs of white plastic there. But I mean, it's not terribly bad, but it is kind of distracting. Here on the bottom, you got some nice wrinkles underneath the jaw there. Moving down to the neck, got some more nice lined, wrinkled textures, and then more scales here, and you got that famous characteristic spines or scutes, osteoderms, whatever, on the back here, which the Indoraptor has, and you got the nice soft quills up here, which look good. Underneath the neck, it's a lot more smoother, so there isn't a lot of sculpt work there. Same with the body. The body and pretty much the tail is where the detail in the sculpt shine. You can see all the individual scales here, which really remind me of a snake, which I think is one of the design choices for the Indoraptor when they were making it, is to give it like the serpent or snake-like scales, and Mattel definitely gave that to us with this figure here. And you got more of the spines and scutes up here, which look nice, and the more quills up here, which are also nice and soft. The arms here have nice scales on them, nice muscle definition. The hands on this Indoraptor are a lot more creepier looking and have a better looking pose than the original. And you got some nice quills sculpted in on the underside of the forearm there. Underneath, you don't get much of anything. It's very smooth, so lacks detail underneath there. The legs here, again, nicely sculpted, nice muscle definition. The legs are nicely sculpted. Not a lot of scales, but like a rough texture, like a bumpy texture. The feet look nice. The claws look well sculpted, and you got the little bird-like scutes on the toes there. And underneath the foot, it's a lot more wrinkly and smooth, so not a lot of texture going on there. Same goes with the underside of the legs here. You got some nice detail underneath there, and the nice little dew claw is sculpted in. Moving on to the tail here. The tail is completely sculpted, which looks really nice, and it feels really realistic in some areas. Nice lined stretch marks right here, and you got some nice sculpt work underneath the tail. I don't know why there wasn't anything over here, but you got a lot of nice sculpt work underneath here, which is also present on the original. The tip of the tail here is made of a softer rubber, which feels really nice. But yeah, this figure is really well sculpted, and I also am looking at the golden stripe here, and it's applied on this figure a lot better than the original. The other one, I don't know, for some reason just didn't look as good as this one. This one's just looks like it's actually mixed into the skin, and it looks like a naturalistic design that you would see like on a reptile. Just looks really nice, and the colors look good too. It has like that metallic shine to it, which adds to the perfect colors of this figure. Each part of the figure is like a different color. Like the head's like a purplish, the jaws and the arms are like a bluish color, but it's not like that in person. In person, it's like one solid color of a bunch of shiny glows, and on the camera, it's just a bit different. But yeah, the colors and sculpt are really well done on this figure, and I'm extremely happy. Another thing too, you got that nice little red around the eye, which I don't know why it's always there. I never saw any red around the eye in the movies. Must have been a concept art thing, I'm not sure. The eyes are actually dark because they glow red, and you can kind of see a little bit of a slit for a pupil painted in. You see it more when it glows in the dark. But yeah, this figure is decked out, and just the overall sculpt and the colors are just amazing. Now, the Indoraptor does come with one accessory. That's why it's called the Track and Attack Indoraptor, because it's part of the Dino Trackers line. And of course, you cannot have a Dino Trackers dinosaur without tracking gear. So here's the cool little headset that it comes with, and it actually looks really cool. Very military-esque, especially with the colors. The detail looks really nice. Nice little eyepiece going on here for the Indoraptor to look through, or for like a little laser pointer or something. A nice little tube sculpted, and an antenna. Just nice little sculpt work. It actually looks like a little face pad, something, whatever that you'd put on modern day animals, and it's really nice. It's made of a softer plastic, so it's not terribly hard. But yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, a little bit of a silver section there painted, so that's very interesting for Mattel just to paint something so random. The headset on here, it really reminds me of what the raptors from Jurassic World wore, with the camera on the side of their heads. But this is also kind of giving us like a what if moment. Like, what if the Indoraptor was successfully bought at Lockwood Estate and was actually used for military purposes? It might have had something like this where it would be useful for tracking down its prey. This piece can easily go on the Indoraptor. Usually what you do is once you put it on, you can just attach the belt buckle together. But for the purpose of this review, I will not do that, since I can just easily take it off and on. These buckles are kind of hard to take out, and trust me, you'll see that when I do the other Dino Tracker reviews. But you can easily put it on this figure, which if we put on here, like so. So it's basically going to look like this. I know it's not buckled in, so it would be much tighter, but this is what it would look like, and I think it looks really cool. Jurassic Park dinosaurs with gear hanging off of their, or attached to their bodies, just is like a classic Jurassic Park thing to me. I don't know why, but it is. But you can see one eye is not covered, and then one eye is. Not sure if it's like an area for it to look through, or if it's like a laser pointy device where it points the laser at someone, and that's what it sees. I don't know, but it's really cool. I mean, the antenna might have something to do with it, but yeah, I think it looks really nice. I am truly digging this Indoraptor. Now, for the action features are very unique on this figure. It's a lot of most of it is used with a button, but it also has a cool slashing motion with its arms. You got a button right here that if we press that, you can see the eyes there glow, and the slit for the pupil stands out a lot better when the eyes are glowing. So yeah, it's a really nice normal electronic dinosaur action feature. And I love how you make the jaw open instead of making the jaw close. And the eyes look very cool as well. The sounds are obviously spot on. They are the correct Indoraptor noises, so that works very well. The other action feature actually has to do with the arms, and both arms are like this, so you cannot individually move the arms. There is no articulation attached to it, but the action feature is you just move the arm up and it twists its head and roars. And then the same thing can be applied with this arm. But that action feature also counts as a slashing action, so we'll test it out on the Hammond Collection Ellie Sattler figure, which I recently did a review on her, so check that out if you guys haven't. So it's got a cool like looking slashing feature, which is very appropriate for a raptor and obviously a dangerous hybrid like the Indoraptor. So it kind of reminds me of the slashing tail whipping action of the Scorpius Rex. So that was the action features and the sounds. I think they look perfect. So for articulation, it's very limited on this figure. You don't get a whole lot. There are some things you can move, like the mouth and the arms, but in terms of actual posability, you only get that in the tail and in the legs. The legs can go full 360 all the way around, forwards and backwards. The ankles here, or the feet here, can swivel, which is good for posability, and both legs can pivot in and out. The tail here is on a ball joint, so it can go up and down, left and right a little bit, and it can also spin around 360, so nice range of motion there. We also got a scan code hatch here, so if we open that, there's the scan code. So yeah, that's basically it for articulation. Not a whole lot, but you know, it's very limited due to the action features. So for size comparisons, we'll first start off with our Hammond Collection Ellie figure. Okay, so here it is scaled up with each other, and that leads me to my least favorite part of this figure, and that is its size. This Indoraptor figure is way too big for my liking and is very inaccurate when compared to the Indoraptor from the film. The Indoraptor from the film was a smaller hybrid. Now, yes, it was bigger than your normal Velociraptor, but it was definitely much smaller than the Indominus, and it was just actually very slightly bigger and longer than the Velociraptor. So the fact that Mattel gave us this large size for this Indoraptor is not that good. I mean, if the Indoraptor was large, then I'd be okay with it. And I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much, just I prefer to have it in a smaller size. That also leads me towards another comparison, which we will compare it to the original Indoraptor, the superposable one that I got way back in 2018. Here it is to scale with the human again. So this size is definitely much better than the new one. The Indoraptor for this older figure just matches better. It's a much smaller figure, and then this one is obviously just a bit too big. This also brings in more differences that I've spotted between these two Indoraptor figures. Now, I do not have the grab and growl. I did not get that. Wasn't too interested. Yes, it had a accurate head sculpt, but like I said, I didn't get it because of the size. And well, here I am years later. I got an Indoraptor that is not the correct size, but you know, I only got it because of the tracking gear, the colors, and the accurate head. So, but anyways, in terms of differences, one of the things I spot are the size of the hands and feet between both figures. The original had probably better proportionate size for the feet and hands. The new one, the hands and feet are much bigger, which don't bother me too much, but you know, this one probably wins the points for having the better overall scale of the body, like the better proportions. This one is kind of good just for like looks and action features and just paint and all that. But yeah, the feet and hands are different sizes, sorry. But yeah, you can definitely see the two different colors. This one is more of just a shiny black, and this one's just a lot of shiny colors mixed into it. There's tons that it gives off that translucent look to it. You can also see the difference in the stripe. This one is a lot more kind of faded and mixed into the skin. This one just kind of looks like it's just painted using dots, just painted dots on the side. Another thing too is the head. We'll take off this just for the purpose of the review. You definitely see the difference in the head here. This one has a very terrible looking head, and this one has the more movie accurate head sculpt. And this one has the very terrible looking teeth, and this one are nice and sharp, which looks much better. And yeah, and another thing too, the Indoraptor in the movie had 2 rows of quills, only 2 rows, and this figure they gave it 3. That's the original, and then the new one, Mattel fixed it by giving us only 2 rows. So, points to Mattel for giving us the correct number of rows of quills on its back. Not sure how it goes with the head sculpt, but I do like the quills on the newer one better than the original. And then another difference is obviously length and size. This one's much more thicker and shorter, and this one's more thinner and longer, as you can see here. So I would have liked to have maybe a more of a thinner Indoraptor that's longer. But, you know, I probably like the new one just a little bit more, even though it is missing the better size proportions and the articulation. You know, you can't go wrong with articulation, but sometimes looks win over movements. So another size comparison here is the Scorpius Rex, the first one that came out from Camp Cretaceous. And obviously this leads to another problem, is again the size. The Scorpius Rex and Indoraptor were nowhere near the same size. The Scorpius Rex was much bigger. It was the medium-sized hybrid, and Indoraptor would have been much smaller. So definitely not accurate to scale, but it is kind of cool to see 2 different hybrids in a similar size. Kind of would make a cool picture if the more I think about it. But in terms of movie accuracy, no, these are not the correct size. But these are very similar in terms of action features. They both have a slashing and roaring action. You know, the Indoraptor has the button on its back, and then same with the Scorpius. But they all have that slashing action, you know, with the arms here. And the Scorpius has that tail, which is looks really cool. Alright everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review. My final thoughts on this figure: I think it's absolutely perfect. You know, like I've been saying for a while now, I love the colors and the action features, the detailed, more movie accurate head sculpt, the teeth. You know, I love everything about this figure. The only thing I don't like is just its size. Could have been much smaller, but other than that, it looks really cool. And plus, it comes with tracking gear. You can't go wrong with tracking gear on a Jurassic Park dinosaur. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again for the next review.